both doing?
Good,
Really
Steve.
good.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Please.
We just talked about this.
Right.
We're all doing pretty good.
Yeah,
Good.
this is
We're in
good.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
And also I really appreciate that it's not a matte painting behind you. It's
Yes.
not on the lot. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is that there's been a number of Jurassic Park movies, and all of them have demonstrated that maybe we don't want to screw with science. Like certain things, it's shown what can happen.
Right.
Do you think humanity has learned anything from these movies where at some point when we can actually do this, do you think they've learned anything, or do you think we're still going to do what we've been watching in these movies?
I think it's a cautionary tale. Absolutely scientific breakthroughs in genetics. These are things that are going to save lives. I think they're going to feed people. They're so important. We have to empower our scientists to make leaps forward. But that cautionary tale is be mindful of doing it for the wrong reasons. If you're going to do it simply for greed, it's going to come back and bite you in the butt in the film, literally, but in real life. And so I think we'll learn those lessons. But lessons are every person has to learn a lesson. So we'll continue to learn those lessons, probably the same lessons over and over again as we progress.
I think that's the role that storytelling has played in the history of our species. Like the reason why stories were created initially was to be like, I heard about somebody who stumbled upon a rock and it was blue and behind it was a creature and it bit you and then you turned green and you died. And it's like, that was like the way of telling the story of like, don't go near that rock.
Right.
And so it's like stories are inherently cautionary tales.
Yes.
And ways in which we also connect with one another. And
Right.
so the hope is that, subliminally, that these stories have influenced generations of decisions, basically, and choices that we all as individuals in our lives need to make.
Totally. I still think we're going to screw it up.
I think you're right. I think you're probably
do.
right.
Oh,
yeah.
that's a guarantee. Yeah.
When you guys got the script and you're looking at everything you're going to be doing, what's the one thing that you thought, oh my God, I cannot wait to do this? And what's the other thing that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to do this?
I know the latter. And when there was a scene where it was like, without spoiling it or anything, Owen becomes incapacitated, and then there's a series of events ensue, and I just remember thinking to myself, like, oh man, I'm gonna have to do that at some point. And I just circled it like question mark, being like, all right, get it in your brain, figure out how you're going to do that. And every day I'd talk to stunt, we'd be planning some stunt thing, and I'm like, hey guys, can we go back to this thing? And they're like, hey man, you're on your own. I don't know what you're gonna do. But so there's that one.
Yeah. I mean, for me, riding on the back of a T-Rex,
Yeah.
I was very excited about that. I was really looking forward to that. It was everything that I hoped it would be and more. As far as kind of anticipating something with like, that's happening. I mean, I think any, like this scene where we ran all the way down and, I knew that that was going to be a day where you were like, policing injuries, pretty much.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you kind of count down to those days.
When I knew that we were going to be doing some pool work, and I was excited to do that, like the underwater work. I've seen actors in movies get to do that kind of underwater work, and I've done a little bit of it, but I had never done anything quite this extensive. So I was looking forward to that because I love to dive and hold my breath and be underwater and mess with cameras and stuff. So that was appealed to me.
Totally. I think I gotta go. I had one last.
Yeah,
question.
let's do
ahead,
one more.
man.
Yeah.
The thing that I love is that and I don't want to spoil anything, the ending of this movie changes the direction of this entire franchise.
Yes.
Right.
What was your reaction learning what was going to happen, and you know what I mean? Because it's a monumental shift.
I think the ending of this film and the promise of how we can expand outward with the threats and the sort of adventure in this kind of a movie was the reason to make this movie. I think that's where we're heading, and so the only way you could do that is and they found a brilliant way to do it, is to destroy the island essentially and force us to move outward. And so I was grateful for that, and it really gets me excited, not only as someone who participates in making these movies and hopefully can do more of them, but also as just a fan, the idea that it doesn't become hackneyed if you're not just going back to the island again for another mishap. Like, this is going to expand in a way that really kind of reshapes the world and reshapes the franchise, and it's really promising that there are a lot of when your imagination just kind of starts to explode like a fireworks show when you think about what you could do now.
Yeah.
Right?
Completely.
I'm getting goosey bumps.
No, it's exciting. It's like this is this is why these stories are being told. It's because of Michael Crichton, and he's a sci-fi writer. And so when I read the ending, and there's a twist at the ending, what I felt was like mad respect, because it was like the movie wasn't going for only dinosaurs the whole time. It was like, we're actually going to say something. This is going to actually add up, and at the end, we're going to be left with some impossible questions to answer.